Hey guys, how you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. Well, this is Alien Covenant 4K Blu-ray, and it's being displayed on Samsung KS-8000 65-inch 4K HDR TV. And I have to tell you, I'm really blown away by the transfer and the bit rate that this 4K version offers. I did have to spend some time tweaking and calibrating this movie. My previous calibration for Prometheus, I felt like it was a bit off. I will show you what I mean by that. It was a mistake to move the gamma down to -3, because with the gamma you're crushing your deep dark levels and you're losing the detail. The whole idea of calibration is to make everything equal and balanced, so that way when you have everything equal and balanced, you will have this sort of a detail. Okay, and just to show you that this is Samsung KS-8000, I'm going to turn the lights on. The reason I don't have the lights on right now is because I want you guys to see this in the dark, and then I also want you guys to see it during the lights. So I'm going to turn the lights on right now. There, as you can see, it looks fantastic, man. And let me show you some more scenes from this movie. Obviously I cannot show you the movie, but I'm going to show you some stills from the movie, and then I'm going to show you what I actually did with calibration. Here, let me show you. I'm going to show you a bunch of stills from the movie. Let me turn the lights off and on so you guys can see that there's no bending light here at all. Really quick. The reason you're not going to see a bending light is because you're watching it from the center. And look, here's the bottom line when it comes to Samsung KS-8000. If you're watching Samsung KS-8000 from the center or a little bit to the left, you'll be okay. But if you're watching it all the way from the corner of the left and all the way from the corner to the right, then you'll see that bending light. But if you're watching it from the center, you'll be fine. There, you see it now without a light. And now you see it with the light. Perhaps, you know what, man, hopefully the 20th Century Fox, it's not going to block this. I'm going to do this for maybe 10 seconds. Show you a short little clip here. Here's another good scene right here. The reason everything looks so clear and vibrant and very sharp is because I think I finally figured out how to calibrate and balance out certain things. I went online, I was reading a little bit about the calibration, and the whole idea of calibration is to make everything balanced. You don't want to go too far on a gamma, nor do you want to go too far with oversaturation, so you always have to look for that balance. The key is balance. When you're calibrating something, the key thing, the key word you're looking for, it's balance. Okay, I'm going to show you a short little clip here for like a few seconds. Hopefully 20th Century Fox won't flag me. Here we go. I mean, everything here you see just looks perfect. Here, let me turn off the lights so this will be even more vibrant when I turn the lights off. There, as you can see it, I'm very impressed with the transfer. Look, obviously the transfer of this movie, it's really good, but the key thing is the calibration. And when you guys see my calibration, you are going to agree that this is definitely the calibration that I'm pretty much sure all of you will agree on this calibration when you see it. Okay, I'm going to show you some more stills, a little earlier stills in the beginning of the movie, looking at the planet, looking at the ship, and then we're going to go and I'm going to show you the calibration of this movie, Alien Covenant. This is another great shot of the movie right here. And I'm going to show you some stills pretty quick here so you guys can see this ship land on this lake. This is just a beautiful shot right here of this lander landing on this lake. And by the way, this was filmed in New Zealand according to Ridley Scott. They went to New Zealand, South New Zealand, a very remote area, and it's really cold where they are at. I mean, they're like near South Pole, Jesus Christ. So won't be surprised if you see some penguins. So let me show you some more stills. Let me show you the landing and then a little bit of the planet when they walk around it, and then I'm going to show you the calibration. This is an excellent transfer. This is an excellent 4K, 2K to 4K intermediate. It looks fantastic. Bitrate, it's top notch. Okay, here I'm going to turn the lights off so you guys can see it without the lights. It looks fantastic. This is my favorite shot. You know, it's funny, I was listening to Ridley Scott commentary and he says he loves landing. You know, he said that the studio, 20th Century Fox, didn't like the fact that he was wasting time, wasting film on the landing, and he says, well, it has to be a landing. That's the whole idea of the experience, of the journey, of the adventure, is for you to go through everything. And I agree, and I love the landing on Prometheus, and also love the landing on this lander here. Kind of reminds me of Mass Effect a little bit. Here's another great shot right here. This is what you're looking for, that balanced picture quality. No oversaturation of the brightness, no oversaturation of the color. The deep dark levels are balanced, and that's what you want in a good calibration. I actually spent some time before I decided to do a proper calibration for Alien Covenant Prometheus. I did some research, as a matter of fact. And also, as a matter of fact, I need to buy myself a proper equipment to do these calibrations. Here's another great shot. Looks fantastic, man, right here. By the way, this is the real ship. No CGI. That's the one thing about Ridley Scott. He does use his digital technology here and there. He uses CGI, but he uses it like in a really good, expensive way. And he implemented it with practical sets and effects, stuff like that. So it looks great. And the transfer, it's really good on this 4K Blu-ray. I'm very impressed. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of more stills, and then I'm going to jump into calibration process of it, okay? Okay, so I turned the lights on so you guys can see it with the lights on and then without the lights on. That's what I'm trying to do here, to give you all the possible different viewing methods. Like all the consoles and everything you see, this looks vivid, bright, detailed, and just looks fantastic. You're gonna see with this calibration that I'm gonna give you, if you have a Samsung KS-8000, you're going to see every detail that filmmaker, in this case Ridley Scott, intended for you to see. And this is one of my favorites right here. This is the one that I really dig. I really like. I'm going to try to show you just a tiny little clip if I can here. Just a tiny little clip. Just a tiny little clip like this. This looks fantastic, man. Obviously my camera is not doing it justice. Here, let me turn off the lights so you guys can see a little bit better. This truly looks remarkable. I mean, you see every detail. And I say every detail, I do mean every detail. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. You guys seen enough. Now it's time for me to show you the calibration process. So here we go. This is going to be a calibration process for Alien Covenant 4K UHD Blu-ray HDR film. By the way, the 4K UHD Blu-ray version has the audio commentary by Ridley Scott, and it's actually pretty good commentary. I highly suggest that you listen to his commentary. You might find some answers on all the questions that you had previously on Prometheus and now Alien Covenant, and then future sequels, prequels that will tie into the Alien 1. I'm talking 1979 Alien. Alright, as many of you know, I like to use a standard. Okay, standard is my mode that I use for the movies. Here, let me show you something really quick. First and foremost, go to the expert settings. Alright, these are my calibration settings. I want you guys to look at these calibration settings really quick, and you will understand why it's calibrated almost perfectly. Backlit, it's 20, meaning maximum. It has to be maximum because it's HDR. Always remember, when it comes to the high dynamic range format, it has to be a contrast at maximum and backlit at maximum. Brightness, I have found out you want to leave the brightness at 50. You don't want to move it down. If you move it down, you're going to be crushing the detail. You're going to be losing a detail that movie has. So you don't want to lose that detail, because otherwise you're going to not enjoy the experience of the movie, the experience that film director intended it to be. So you want to keep the brightness at 50. Sharpness is at 20. This is something that I have been messing around and finally came to the terms that 20, it's the G spot. It's the perfect spot. I know it's going to sound funny, I said G spot, but that's what it is. It's the perfect balance spot. Color, it's 50. You're going to say, why it's color at 50? Because you don't want to oversaturate your color. The whole idea of calibration is to keep it balanced. You don't want to mess with the color. Leave that color at 50. The movie has the color as it is. It has the tone of color. You don't need to mess around with that color. Leave it at balanced. Leave it at 50. Digital clean view, turn that off. You only use that for cable, or if you have some weak, I don't know, digital signal or something, you use that. Scrambled digital signal, that's when you use that to clean that scrambled noise. Auto Motion Plus, you turn that off as well. You don't need it. First of all, the movie, it's not filmed to be in a super high speed motion, okay? The film director didn't intend it to be that way, so you want to turn that off. Turn those two off. Smart LEDs, I also did some research. You have to keep the smart LEDs at high as well to get that peak brightness nits that you need for HDR to truly give you that detail. Okay, so you got to keep the smart LEDs at high at all times. Remember, contrast, backlit, and smart LEDs always at maximum. And of course, UHD color has to be on in order for you to use the HDR. Dynamic contrast, you want to turn that off. You don't need that. Why? Because you are watching an HDR film. Therefore, there's no reason for you to use the dynamic contrast. It's not necessary. color tone, this is no-brainer, standard. You're gonna say, well, why standard? Standard because you don't want your color to be too yellow of a tone or to be too blue, cold of a tone. You want to be in the middle, okay? You want to separate between yellow and cold. Stay in the middle. That's what's called a balanced color, standard. White balance, you don't mess with that. The only time you mess with the white balance, unless you have equipment. You have a professional equipment to do that, then like a CalMan or something where you can have the device and then you have a computer hooked up to it and you can measure the white balance of the color and everything, but you never mess with the white balance. You leave that alone. Unless you're a professional and you have the professional calibrating equipment. Okay? Second thing, it's gamma. I know I've been saying leave the gamma at -3. You don't want to do that. You want to leave the gamma at balance 0. Okay, if you push the gamma to -1 to -2 to -3, you are going to be losing a detail that film director intended to. I just did some research. I pre-ordered some books to learn about this stuff because you will lose that detail and you don't want to lose that detail, okay? And of course, color space, it's native. Okay, I don't mess with anything else other than native because you want the native color spectrum of RGB to be at its native. All right. So I'm pretty sure you guys will agree, looking at this calibration, that this is exactly what I just did here. It's exactly what you would get with a professional calibrating software or professional calibrating equipment. I guarantee you right here, I just saved you $400. You can thank me later, or you can thank me by supporting me on maybe Patreon, or you can thank me by liking this video, okay? I just saved you $400 for you to have this experience in Samsung KS-8000. Remember, this will only apply to Samsung KS-8000. So there you have it. Make sure you write all this stuff down. Rewind the video, pause the video, rewind it and pause it, and then write it down, okay? So that way you don't have to ask me in the comment section, hey, what are the calibration settings? Watch the video. This is why I upload these videos. Watch the video, rewind it, pause it, and write things down. And then use it, and you will see just how good it looks. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this 18 minutes video that I did for Alien Covenant. Look, both of these movies, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, they both look amazing. But especially Alien Covenant looks very detailed. The bitrate, it's a very good bitrate, sharp, steady. Can't complain. I highly recommend that you pick this movie up. I know this movie took a lot of dump when it was released in the movie theater, but that's because you have a bunch of clueless idiots who are probably not even a fan of the Prometheus, or who probably never even watched the Prometheus, and they went in to see this movie clueless and brainless. This movie, it's for people to use their brain a little bit, to think, to connect the dots. And it's really not that hard to connect the dots between Prometheus and this movie. It's very self-explanatory, especially if you listen to the commentary from Ridley Scott, and especially if you look at the deleted scenes, special features on a 4K Blu-ray movie. By the way, this 4K Blu-ray movie, it's selling out like crazy. It's already being sold out, so I'm kind of happy because that's only going to give the 20th Century Fox a green light to do The Awakening, okay, which should be filmed, if it's okay, green light, probably next year, 2018, early 2018. Alright guys, so there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and like I said, if you like what I do, support me. You know, if you don't like what I do, well then, why are you here? Why are you here? Alright guys, have a good one. Take care. Remember, I do this for you. Mr. 4K Upscaler, out. Thank you.